What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit. I've actually GM'd for like 80% of this build in Wrath of the Righteous, and I can tell you, 100% guaranteed to make your GM scratch his head in frustration / probably the best way to take out a player who's a little too good without actually killing their characters. Today, bam! Mr. Wifflepossum Productions requests we build a gun ninja. Works out a little better than you might think. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, if you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, ding the bell. Remember, patronage at any tier gets you access to a Google Sheet that this is made on. And you know, if you'd like to play it here on the channel, we're always talking in the Discord about putting other patron games together. Certainly, I'd just love to GM for this one again. It has proven to be a very good way to make friends, but today, this episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit was brought to you in part by Madsen the Forb. Thanks for your support, my friend. Now, here we go. So this video was a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of helping myself to understand one of my players' characters, and a little bit of, once again, scratching my head at the notion of how really fast one can reload a firearm in Pathfinder 1st Edition. This character is all about putting as much damage downrange as possible, usually from one attack, but eventually from more, and by the end of the day, all of it will be coming from non-lethal damage. There's a lot of value in the non-lethal sneak attack world, it turns out. And there's a whole other conversation that you and I could have right now about how it's not fair to use things that are immune to what your party is using to sideboard against them. But gods above, is it tempting for this one. This build will take its first 5 levels as a musket master gunslinger. Because it was requested we do this on a musket. Yes, the pistols are faster. Yeah, the pistols could do way more damage. But it is what it is. And levels 6 through 20 of all the things in the world actually will not be the Unchained Rogue, but they will be coming from the ninja, specifically the Gunpowder Bombardier. We're mostly a Gunpowder Bombardier because it gets a really flavorful bomb feature that kind of sells the explosives aesthetic that we're looking for here. But the ninja is better than the rogue in this case because we don't really need that dexterity to damage so much as we like that key pool. Specifically, the extra attack during a full round action, yeah, why not? Throw the sneak attack downrange, make more than one attack against touch AC. It's real good. For our race, today we will be building a monkey goblin. This is partially because, well, that prehensile tail's real good for holding on to your firearm when you're reloading it. A +4 to dexterity, given that that will eventually be what we're damaging with, is real nice, even with a -2 to the stat that's generating our key. And if we make the about 2-inch leap that a monkey goblin is treated as a goblin, for the purposes of favored class bonuses, a goblin rogue, and remember kids, ninja is an alternate of the rogue, gets a +1 bonus on sneak attack damage during the surprise round or before the target has acted in combat, not just on your first attack, anytime you are sneak attacking either in round 0 or round 1. That adds up crazy fast. Your traits are entirely up to you. For your stat priority, you're looking at dexterity because we're gonna hit people with it, charisma, then wisdom, Cha for the key, whiz so you don't get mind controlled, of course, then your constitution so you don't explode, followed by strength and int last of all. Now, to the feats. Of course, musket masters will get rapid reload for the muskets right away at level 1. Yet again, we will be grabbing Goblin Gunslinger as our first level feat, allowing you to use a medium firearm without taking the penalty. Oops, now we're throwing d12s at everyone. Since this is a combat feat, since it's not a prereq for anything, eventually this will go on the training enchantment. Matter of fact, 5 of our feats end up on the training enchantment this time. I've got some suggestions for feats you might take, because that's 5 feats. You could almost do whatever you wanted. Carry around a couple of Keen Wakizashi to 2-weapon fighting, leadership if your GM will allow it, the animal ally feats for a pet, so on and so forth. Sky's the limit. Point blank shot is next at level 3, because you gotta do it. And precise shot is our level 4 bonus feat from our 4th level of Gunslinger. Even though we're almost always targeting touch, a -4 is still super rude. At level 5, that's where we start to get exciting. We are partially waiting to level 5 to kick this off because we're trying to get the taxes out of the way, and partially because you will need to enchant your firearm before it can do non-lethal damage. You're gonna need to jam the merciful enchantment on it. Otherwise, the whole thing kind of falls on its head. But by level 5, I'm betting you could probably find somebody to make this enchantment for you. Bludgeoner says that you take no penalty on attack rolls for using a lethal bludgeoning weapon to deal non-lethal damage. Normally it would be a -4, and a rogue with this feat can use a lethal bludgeoning weapon to deal non-lethal damage with a sneak attack. That text is real nice, but unfortunately under no circumstances can you do non-lethal with a ranged attack without the merciful enchant. This is kind of, again, just a tax for us, but this is one of the few times that I think the tax pays off. At level 7, our second ninja level, I'm probably going to say rogue like 10 times when we're talking about ninja, Sap Adept, with a prerequisite of sneak attack 1d6. Whenever you use a bludgeoning weapon to deal non-lethal sneak attack damage, you gain a bonus on your damage roll equal to the number of sneak attack dice you rolled. Right now, this is only 1d6 plus 1, but as we level up and up, it gets progressively more and more terrifying. At level 9, it's Accomplished Sneak Attacker to bump up our d6 a little bit, you know, because of 5 levels of not a sneak attack class. And next, it's the real scary one, Sap Master, with a prerequisite of Sap Adept and Sneak Attack 3d6. Whenever you use a bludgeoning weapon to deal non-lethal sneak attack damage to a flat-footed opponent, roll your sneak attack twice, totaling the results as your non-lethal sneak. Double your sneak attack dice. Sap Master is another one of those that we can certainly retrain. After jamming it on the training enchantment, I think leadership looks pretty good here. But again, if your GM doesn't want you to take it, there are a billion other clutch options for you. At level 13, it's extra rogue talent for powerful sneak because, in fact, we do not care about a -2 when we're firing with a firearm, especially if our 1s on our sneak attack dice can then be treated as 2s. With the amount of d6 we're throwing at the table, that gets out of hand fast. Then it's Rapid Shot, Snapshot, and Improved Snapshot, because with things like Invisible Blade making us constantly under greater invisibility, I think it stands to reason that people are probably going to oopsie through your musket threat range at some point. Why not get a free extra boatload of d6s on them? Now before we do that dank math damage here, a few items you're definitely going to want to pick up for this build. Of course, you're always going to want your big 6, and follow this card right here if you don't know what that is. First up, the most expensive item on your to-do list, the Greater Sniper's Goggles. These function as sniper's goggles, which of course allow you to make sneak attack at any range increment, but the wearer this time gets a +2 circumstance bonus on each sneak attack when making a sneak attack at any range with these goggles. Oftentimes I feel like the ranged sneak attack guy is within 30 feet anyway, and bonus points if you leadership in something like an ogre and you ride on its shoulders cackling madly and shooting down. But in case of dragon, put on goggles. Easy peasy. Next, the Oil of Silence. There's enchantments and magic and things you can use to make your gun not go bang when you fire it, but for the low price of 250 gold pieces, when applied to a one-handed or two-handed firearm, a musket, this strange grayish oil renders that firearm silent for an hour. That's a long time and probably reasonable to put on like the standard action before the encounter, let alone the standard action before entering the room the encounter will take place in. This is a much cheaper way to make sure your greater invisible ninja doesn't loudly announce their presence when they're knocking someone out. Lastly, prioritize use magic device in your skills and grab yourself a Wand of Sense Vitals. With a caster level up to 15th if you can swing it, an extra 5d6 precision damage looks bad on no one. So at the end of the day, this character is rolling 9d6 base from 15 levels of a sneak attacky class and Accomplished Sneak Attacker. If we tack on 5d6 from Sense Vitals, that comes down to a total of 14d6. We double the number of dice if we're using Sap Master, and times that as a casual, 28d6. Deadly Sneak lets us treat our 1s and 2s as 3s. I had to go grab Mahogany for this one because math hurts my brain. On average, that means our sneak attacks will do about 112 points of damage. That's before the d12 times 4. That's before a +15 from our favored class bonus. That's before adding our dexterity to damage. That's before adding Sap Adept's damage. And we'll land with a BAB of 16 with rapid shot. That's what, 4 attacks in a round? Meaning we're doing 448 points of precision damage before anything else is factored in. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Silent but undeadly this build is, and thank y'all so much for watching. Have you played a Sapadept Rogue before? Have you GM'd for one? Let me know down in the comments. Next week, man, I've got a lot of patron requests for 1E. Next week, one of my favorite things, well, kind of a variation on one of my favorite things, shall we say, we're building a mounted character. Can we make the Ranger good? Certainly, slapping that Ranger on a flying mount probably gets the job done. In any case, again, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next time.